Hello, and welcome to the Real Movie Watchers podcast. And with you, as always, we got your hosts here, me, Matt McGuire, and my buddy Alec Fritz over here.
What up?
Yeah. So we finally got to our 5th episode. Today is October 15th, 2019. I know we had intended to do a football episode last month for September, but someone had to go and get crazy sick with some shit. He doesn't even know what it was.
Yeah, a bunch of shit got in the way. A bunch of my shit. I got really, really sick with some stupid thing that I'm not even really sure what it was. Doctor wasn't sure. But basically, I had a fever and a headache for 7 days straight.
Yeah, you're out of commission. Hardcore.
Fever would not break, like, just 24 hours a day, every day.
And wasn't the flu.
Fever and headache. And wasn't the flu.
That.
So, but fever finally broke, and I'm feeling 100% again.
Yeah, and by that point, we got to October, so we said, fuck it, we're still Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, by that point, I think the football thing had passed. Well, we can always talk about it. It's, again, another episode. But
plenty of time. I was thinking possibly on November it could be our football episode.
Right, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Football's still going on. We still got our fantasy teams going strong, so.
Yeah, I'm kicking ass this year so far. Yeah. All right, so
calm down. You're doing okay.
First place, I like it. And projected to remain in first place.
Yeah, projections don't mean shit, dude.
Yeah, until they do.
Uh-huh.
But all right, so Halloween. It's a special. We're both big horror movie fans, so it's a special month for us. So we wanted to do a two-parter this month. So we're gonna do this first part here, talk about horror movies in general, some of our favorite ones, monsters and whatnot. The second part, they'll do in a couple weeks here, I think the week right before Halloween. We want to get into the paranormal and supernatural talk for that one. But this one's going to be just other horror movies in general, like slashers, monsters, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like the two. Halloween's, Halloween in general and horror movies, I think deserve. I mean, you could have a whole podcast based on them. So for us to just do, I think it's definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah, otherwise it could have been like a 6-hour recording if we just want to talk about all horror movies. There's too many to talk about. So we're going to split it into 2 sessions here. But first let's get into some of the opening segments, what we've seen and what we're looking forward to. And so I've seen 3 movies recently. I saw Toy Story 4, and it's legit. As far as, all Toy Stories are great.
And this one was good?
It's
Didn't
good.
Disappoint? All right.
No, the ending, you're like, oh, okay, that's how they're going to end it. Interesting. It isn't. It was good. It's probably my least favorite of them. I want to say the first one and the third one are my favorites. Third one's got a special place for me. Just so then Andy dropping off his toys when he's going off to college always makes me cry a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's so sad and heartwarming.
All right.
And then I saw Brightburn. Have you ever heard of Brightburn?
No.
It's like a play on Superman, but it's more of a horror movie twist where...
Oh, I am familiar with this.
Yeah, where some Kansas farmers find an alien boy in the woods and ends up having superpowers, but then just murders everybody.
He's kind of an evil little bitch, right?
Yeah. Which, it's all right. No, I wouldn't recommend it necessarily. It's more like, oh, why is he evil? Oh, it's evil because his spoilers, his spaceship tells him to be evil, and then he just starts flipping out on people.
Oh.
But I think they might be making it into its whole new, like, spin-off kind of supervillains things, because at the very end they had little parodies of Aquaman and Wonder Woman and shit, but, like, evil versions.
All right. I am familiar with the movie, because I do remember seeing a preview for it.
Yeah. It sounded interesting.
But you wouldn't recommend it, huh?
I wouldn't pay money to see it. I mean, if you're hungover on a Sunday morning or something and want to check it out, you can put it on. But nothing to talk about. Make it special. And then saw Aladdin, live action version of Aladdin, which I want to talk about. So I had thoughts because I've seen The Jungle Book, I've seen Aladdin. Have I seen a third live action?
Did you see Beauty and the Beast?
No, Ellen did. Ellen hated it.
I wasn't a big fan of it either.
Yeah. And so what I got out of Aladdin, like, it's good, and Will Smith, he did well for the genie. I know the genie is going to be hard because Robin Williams is my boy, and it'd be hard to follow that up.
That's a hard follow-up.
Yeah, which he did. I was like, all right, he actually did pretty good with this. But I thought about it, and I was like, they're doing all these live action Disney movies, and what like Aladdin live action was good. It was solid, and maybe if I saw it without seeing the cartoon as a kid, it'd be really good. But they just lack like a certain magic, I guess, to me, that the cartoons had.
Right. I guess I understand that. So I saw Aladdin too. I actually really liked it. I thought Will Smith killed it, especially considering the act that he had to follow up. So following in Robin's footsteps in that role, that iconic role,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he fucking killed it. I just really liked his portrayal of the genie because he kind of made it his own.
Yeah,
But it also felt very familiar, so that's why I liked it.
yeah. I was happy with it. I was going in very skeptical, so I was like, all right, this isn't horrible. He's not ruining it. It was the songs that were the same though. They're just I'm like, oh, just lacking that pow that Robin can do.
I going back to what you said. What the fuck did you say? You said
It doesn't have the magic.
Yeah, it doesn't have the
cartoons.
magic to it. I think I would kind of agree with that. My maybe only issue with it, and it's a stupid issue, but they added this whole other song for Jasmine's character,
Mm-hmm.
and then they made Jasmine just like this really kind of extra badass character in the
Is that
movie.
like her woman power song?
Yeah. Which is, dude, it's fine. It's fine. That's not what I have a problem with. Look, you can have a powerful female lead character. That's fine. That's not what I have a problem with. I guess what I have a problem with is it's just not Aladdin. Like
it's supposed to be about Aladdin.
I shouldn't even say I have a problem with it. It's not a problem. It's just that like it's this weird thing where I'm kind of in this weird zone where I feel like if you're gonna make this character and this whole, if you're gonna change the story of the original and you want a strong female lead character, why don't you just make a new story and have a strong female lead character?
Yeah, or it could be about like Aladdin and Jasmine.
Right? Or just leave Aladdin alone, man. Just leave it alone. Get Will Smith in to do something. Get that, I forget her name, what the actress is.
She's awesome.
Make
like
a
her
whole new movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a stupid complaint. It really is a stupid complaint because I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I just think that, like, when you're changing it, I don't know. I don't know if I have a problem with it being changed.
Just it stood out to you, basically.
Yeah, but like it's kind of like you said, it didn't have that same magic. I don't know if that's what. It's just like.
Well, when I really noticed the magic part was when Aladdin gets made into a prince, comes into town, he's singing the whole song. It's almost exactly the same as the Robin Williams one. It has all these cool special effects and shit. And the genie, Will Smith looked good. I thought they did a good job with like that CGI. But all that, I was like, it's cool and flashy, but something about the cartoon, and it's probably also a nostalgia factor, being a kid and seeing that. I loved Aladdin back then. Right. I was like, it just isn't. Yeah, it's not like overwhelming me with awesomeness. It's just, all right, it's cool. It's fine.
Yeah, and I'm already going to retract what I said. I don't think that's necessarily my complaint with the movie. It certainly isn't my complaint with the movie that they added something that actually didn't really bother me.
Mm-hmm.
That they added a song and they kind of changed a character.
I guess to be trying to make an improvement,
like a character. What do you? I don't know.
Arc?
Arc? Yeah. Okay. I guess that really doesn't bother me. I actually really liked the movie. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good.
It's probably been my favorite one. Well, I've only seen two, but it's much better than Jungle Book. I was not a fan of Jungle Book.
I think my underlying issue with it is that it's Disney, who as a company, have progressively grown to despise more and more the older I've gotten. I still love their product.
Evil Empire. Yeah,
love their product. The product they put out is fantastic, but the company itself, I have,
I'm sure
some issues with, and I guess that's kind of what pisses me off is if you get, maybe the thing that annoys me about these live action remakes is that they're just not. Maybe they're not different enough, or the ways they are different aren't just if you're gonna change something, make something completely new. I guess then don't worry about changing this little, a certain character or a certain plot in the story. Just make a new story,
That's the big thing. That's on another
You
show I
know?
listened to. That's their thing. Was like, why? Like, why do we need to remake these into live action?
You don't really need to.
Is it just a money grab, basically?
It's just a money grab, and then it's even more of a money grab when you kind of do the whole, hey, this is the Me Too era, and women have a voice and blah blah blah. It doesn't necessarily see the way I feel about Disney. Maybe this is my own conspiracy theory, but the way I feel about Disney, it's not them going, yay, hooray for women. It's them going, all right, this is what we know
People will like
people
this.
will
Yeah.
like, and this is why we're doing it. And it's just
not
money.
genuine.
Money is the bottom line. And just
Yeah,
positive, tomatoes.
for multi-billion
The
dollar
ri-
company.
they want the red tomatoes. They don't want the green ones. And it's like, well, we should absolutely, have Jasmine have her own song that,
Mm-hmm.
let's make a new song
Millennials
for.
eat that
Let's
shit
ma-
up, man.
Oh, exactly. They're like, they don't. I don't think it's coming from a place of actual we give a shit. I think it's just coming from a place of, all right, this is what we have to do now because we know,
Yeah.
people go see it and people will respond
Mm-hmm.
positively to it. Not that you're not supposed to respond positively to it. I just think it's a little sin. It's not. I think they're just blowing smoke up people's asses.
Yeah.
I think they
I
could
see
give a
that.
shit whether or not Jasmine had her own song. They just felt like that's what they needed to do.
Yeah, to get better reviews because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, looked upon favorably.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we
Yeah.
spent a long time talking about
Yeah.
that.
Well, there's
Yeah.
some thoughts on Aladdin there for sure. All right. Movies I'm looking forward to, and I chose some more of the horror element here that I've seen previews of. Do you know they're making a new Blade, right?
I did hear about that.
With I'm gonna butcher
It's,
his name,
It's
Marshall
the guy,
Ali.
yeah.
Marshall, I can't say his first name.
Yeah.
Be that guy. Which he'd be legit. I'm all for it. I think he can be a Blade.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
I'll watch a new Blade. I like that story.
Blade's one of my because that came out perfect time for us when we were early middle school maybe.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, that's fucking badass.
That was like the kind of movie that, it was just perfect.
yeah, before Marvel was a huge thing even.
Right, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. And I think I sent this one to you a while ago, but it's called Underwater. It's got Kristen Stewart, and a couple other people, and they basically are in an underwater science facility, and power goes out, and they have to like walk across the ocean floor in their suits to get to this other spot.
Yeah.
And shit gets crazy with some sort of
It looked
beings
cool.
down there.
It looked cool.
Yeah, I'm like, this could be like a fun, just like, all right, people getting killed by monsters underwater kind of movie. So I'd watch that. And I sent you today Gretel and Hansel, or Hansel, which I'm down to see that. It has like a witch, like the witch kind of quality looking to it. So
It
I'm like,
looked
all right,
cool.
I'll see
It
this.
looked like they took a 5-minute fairy tale story and turned it into an hour 40 movie with maybe, hopefully, some actual substance.
Yeah,
It looked like it actually looked promising from the trailer. Like it wasn't just your straight linear kind of plot line. Maybe there's some,
yeah, we'll keep you hooked and guessing the whole time. Because
I hope
everyone
so.
knows Hansel and Gretel's story, hopefully.
Yeah, everyone
So-
knows that, and hopefully it's like a little bit fucked up. I'm hoping it's actually
Yeah.
kind of fucked up
It has-
and not like too easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's
yeah.
what I don't like in scary movies, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it has like a good creep vibe to it that I'm looking forward to, hopefully. And then lastly, Doctor Sleep. Have you seen previews for that?
Not familiar
Ian
with that
McGregor?
one. No.
So I didn't realize this existed, but it is a sequel to The Shining. So it's still, I think it's a book from Stephen King as well.
Oh,
And it's where he goes back, Ewan McGregor's some guy goes back to the hotel, and there's like a girl there, a child, and they both have like these supernatural powers kind of, and someone's trying to find them because they want to use their powers or something. So I was like, oh, I like this. I like when you get a little people with powers and special abilities kind of thing. Like Carrie. Carrie's really cool for that telekinesis.
right.
So yeah, I want to see those.
Nice.
How about you, Al? Is there a movie you would like to see or something you've seen recently?
Well, I saw Aladdin recently. We already talked about that. I think I saw a couple of more movies that, but man, I think I watched them when I was sick, and I totally fucking forgot.
Did you watch In America yet? Like I told you to?
No.
God damn.
All right, so I have 2 movies currently on low. One of them is In America from you, which I've had for well over a year.
Yeah.
I haven't watched yet. The other movie is oh God, what is this called? A buddy from work lent it to me. It's called Repo the Opera or something.
Oh, you told me about that. Yeah.
Which is kind of, it sounds like it's one of these cult classic kind of movies.
What's that about?
Super
Repo
fucking
the
word.
Opera?
I have no idea. He said I just need to watch, and it was crazy.
Could be a gem.
Could
like
be
Dark City.
And I haven't watched that either. So
you haven't seen
at
Dark
some
City?
Point, no, I mean I haven't
okay.
watched Repo.
Yeah.
This Repo movie. So I need to start watching the movies that were loaned to me.
You had a prime opportunity when you're laid out sick for a
But
week.
see, here's my point. I know I watched at least a couple more movies when I was all fucked up and sick.
Be like in and out of
And
consciousness.
I don't remember what I watched.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't remember. Like, I know I watched a couple movies. I just don't remember what they were. No idea, man. I couldn't tell you.
All right. So it could have been good or bad. No idea.
As far as one movie I'm really kind of looking forward to horror-wise, The Conjuring 3.
Ooh, another one. I don't know if I've seen the second one.
But, well, the second one was not as good. I love the first one. And as part of our second part of this Halloween podcast, we're focusing on supernatural and paranormal and demonic movies. I'll delve a little more into that. I am a huge fan of the first one.
I did enjoy that.
The original Conjuring, I'm a huge fan of. The second one was just so-so. I don't like any of the spin-offs.
Was Annabelle a spinoff?
Yeah, Annabelle. Okay. The Nun was just god-awful.
Was that a spinoff too? I know it's the same creators.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Nun is sort of, it's part of that whole world. She appears in, like, the Conjuring movies. And then they have their own Nun movie. Which
Ghosts have a spinoff? Yeah.
Just, it was fucking garbage. I think I actually talked about that
you
in the podcast.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but, I mean, I'm going to watch the third one, so.
Okay, yeah. We'll have to look up that preview. See, that's like, sweet. All right. All right, so we had some questions to start off our discussion on horror movies. Do you want to start with your questions?
Yeah, basically, all I was going to... Mine's kind of more broad, I guess.
Okay.
So, I mean, where'd you rate Halloween? Let's just talk about the holiday. Where would you rate Halloween on your...
The holiday Halloween?
Your holiday. Yeah.
It was number 1 for quite a while. I'd say it's number 2 right now, after Christmas. When I was a kid, it was definitely Christmas, then Halloween, and then I had my Grinch years in college, so Halloween was more. And now I'm back on Christmas as being cool again, so, yeah, 2. Okay. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah,
How
it's
about
pretty
you?
solid. Yeah, I like it. I would probably put it, I don't know. I have a weird relationship with Halloween. I like it.
Do tell.
I don't go crazy over it, but I do really like it. I mean, some years I really get into it. Some years it's just been another day. So I guess that's kind of how it is.
I mean, does it depend if, like, it's a weekday and have to work and shit?
Not necessarily even. You know, sometimes it just depends. It's just a mood of whether that particular year I'm going to embrace it or not. I think I'm going to embrace it this year. I'm already thinking about costumes where even though I do have to work on actual Halloween, thinking about going
dressed up
in
for
costume.
Work. Fuck yeah.
You know, I'm going to kind of, really do an uptick on some horror movie watching. So
yeah, well, that's part of it for me is just the whole month because it's at the very last day of the month. So I have the whole month to, like, get in Halloween mode, watch scary movies. I like decorating for Halloween. And anytime I can get dressed up, I love getting dressed up.
Plus, I love fucking candy, dude. I love candy, so I'll be eating my fair share of candy, dude.
Oh, we've almost finished our candy. And we just it's sitting in a bowl on the counter. I'm like, I can't not just
Dude,
grab
you
one
can't
out.
leave a fucking bowl of candy on the counter, man. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, it's gonna get
Oh
eaten.
yeah, definitely, especially chocolate stuff, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
But we only had one trick or treater last year, so
Do you have that bowl upstairs right now?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
on the
I'll
credenza.
be sure to hit that before I leave.
Yeah, take a look.
Okay. Yeah.
Were you at your place last year for Halloween?
Yeah, but we had just moved in.
But no trick or treaters that you
We
know?
had literally, I think we were there 2 or 3 days before Halloween was when I actually moved in.
That's right.
And
yeah.
there are kids in the complex, but I don't think they do a lot of trick or treating around the area. Because in my area it's just all condos and apartments and shit. And
Yeah.
some of them are across the fucking frontage road, and so there's not necessarily a neighborhood exactly.
Yeah, a lot of kids moving around.
I mean, I think there's plenty of kids around. I just don't think trick or treating is. I mean, I don't remember getting any trick or treaters last year.
Now,
So
as a kid, how would you have ranked Halloween?
as a kid, it's right up there, dude.
Because I remember we spent quite a few
As
Halloweens
a kid,
together.
it's number one. As an adult, I still really love it. My relationship with it's weird because there's been years where I've just completely blown it off. For whatever reason.
Like Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so pissed yesterday. I tried to go to the bank and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And I just completely forgot. And we tried to go to the DMV too. And
Oh shit! Yeah,
that was closed
anything's
too.
government's
So
closed.
I do all that shit today. But anyway, it was right up there, number one. And I still really like it.
Well, yeah, I remember lots of good Halloweens with you. Somewhere it was so cold and snowy, we wore big winter jackets over our Halloween costumes every time trick or treating. The best ones though were when it lined up, of course, like Friday, Saturday, so we could like hit up your street and then my street and the rest of the neighborhood, and then have a sleepover, and we're playing poker and shit with candy.
Yeah, staying up all night, eating fucking candy.
Way too much candy.
Dressing up, dude.
Yeah.
I always felt like I got cheated, though, because I always felt like I collected way more candy than what I actually ended up with.
Was it your parents, like, putting it away so you didn't eat it all?
No, I don't
in a
think
couple
so.
nights?
I mean, I don't think so. If they did, they've never told me that they did that.
Yeah.
I'll be pretty upset.
Yeah.
No, but no, I always just felt like, I collected like, pillowcase full of candy, and I got home and I dumped it all out, and I looked at it on the ground and I was like,
Lots of repeats.
well, that's not as much as
What
I
was the
thought it
worst
was.
thing you ever got for trick or treating?
It sounds weird. The worst thing I got that I can actually really remember was some lady gave us change.
like
Like
a handful of nickels.
Like a handful of fucking coins, dude. Which, like, I don't know, maybe to some people that sounds fucking cool. I actually would have preferred, like, some like a thing of crackers or something, even though I would have talked shit about that also, or whatever, it was just weird because, like, at least when they give you an apple, it's an apple, or they'll give you,
Want
some
you to be healthy.
fucking, some fucking woke ass
I got a
bitch
granola
this
bar.
year, is giving out granola bars or, some fucking shit. But at least it's packaged.
Yeah.
And it's what it is, and it's there. This lady, I swear to fucking God, she just like was grabbing a handful of change. Not, maybe some kid got.
Was she like, oh shit, it's Halloween.
Maybe some kid got like 30 cents. Maybe the next kid got like 80 cents. I don't think she was just grabbing change. Like she literally just threw a fucking little hand of change in my bag.
You're like,
And I
great,
was like,
I can't even buy a candy
what
with
the
this
fuck is
change.
this, dude? Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, well, how old am I?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a fucking child. What am I gonna do? Get in the car and head down to the store, buy something? No, it's like,
No,
yeah.
that's just gonna sit
that's the
somewhere.
weirdest thing I can remember
That's
getting.
a choking
honestly.
hazard, actually. Looking at the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's just fucking weird.
Yeah.
You might as well just fucking have your porch light off. Just don't even waste your time. lady.
Oh yeah,
Chill.
yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah.
All right. Another question?
Yeah. All right. So another question. So why do you like horror? So this is going into, sorry if this has been a little bit of a long time getting to
Back to movies?
but here we go. So why do you like horror movies so much? Like, what is, like, because I like horror movies even though they scare the fucking shit out of me.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I like them. I think that's why a lot of people like them. People like to get scared.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think of other examples of things that it's just like, why would I do that to myself? And I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe working out is one of those things too. It's like, that pain of working out, but you actually kind of love it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what the horror thing is too, is like, it does freak the shit out of you, but you do love that feeling of like being fucking freaked out.
Well, you can't, it lets you safely dive into that realm and come back and be like, oh shit, like I gotta experience that fear, but not in like an actual way where my life is in danger. But it's funny, this is the exact same question I was going to ask you to start off this part of the episode here.
Why I like horror?
Yeah, why do you like horror? Why do you like horror?
I mean, I like being scared. There's a weird, there's a little bit of a weird thing that I'm kind of uncomfortable with. Maybe this is why I like it too. There's like, for me in like the horror, and this is including movies and stuff, because I think film is a huge part of what drives the fear. I think film is a huge driving aspect of
like
fears and just like the
even over books and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but I know books do it.
I've read some that have actually scared me.
I know, that certain shows will do it. I think film though really does drive the kind of fear.
Hits it the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
The most I've ever been scared is unless it's real life. Horror movies is like the next thing.
And I know every Halloween across the entire world, they have, the haunted houses and stuff like that, which is pretty fear generating and everything. But I think, at least for me, where it really stems from is cinema, is movies. Like, that's really where I get the horror thing. But there's a weird sort of also thing where it's like, I feel like for the horror genre, whether it's film or books, any, just art in general, and I would even kind of put people who run haunted houses in that kind of same. I view that as an art, actually.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah. It's part of performance.
So there's a weird, there's one part of this horror genre that's kind of campy. And kind of fun. It's like, oh, that scared me, and I know it's scary.
Like the jump scares and
it's cool.
Gore stuff. Yeah.
Even more than the jump scares, it's like even the really serious, almost kind of fucked up things can still be campy. Like as campy as far as the like kind of chill, kind of fun level you have with it.
Do you have like an example?
Just like what me and you are doing right now, like friends sharing and like their kind of love for the horror genre and everything, or going to a haunted house and getting the shit scared out of you, and know these people are really trying their fucking hardest to scare the shit out of you, and you're really trying your fucking hardest to keep your shit together, and then when it's all said and done and you're outside of the venue and you went through the whole thing, then it's just like, oh, this big relief, and you're all laughing about it and everything. And
well, I think it has to do, and this is what I had thought about this question, kind of like why we like roller coasters.
Right.
Like it's scary. You're going, you're like, this is exciting. This is, you're going, something intense is happening. And then you're done, and you're like, the adrenaline's going, and you're like, whoo, you feel like alive, your heart's pumping.
Right.
That's what I like from horror movies. I kind of like, whoo, like, it got me, and like my heart's racing, and it makes me smile when it happens.
And then you can fucking have a drink afterwards and laugh about it and feel good about it. And that's what I kind of mean by the campiness of it.
Yeah.
But there's Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
say
yeah.
it. When something scares me real good, I'm like, oh shit. I have to like giggle to myself afterwards, like, oh man, that got me. That's good.
Right. You have to just you can't help but just laugh. You're just like, oh
Yeah.
shit, dude. Yeah, that was good.
But it's funny because, like you said, as a kid, I got awful nightmares as a kid from watching scary movies. But I kept watching them.
Right.
And even though I knew it was going to happen, I don't know why I kept going back to it. Something about the being scared being fun. It was like the afterwards, though, when you're going to sleep, that really got me.
Yeah, and then I guess that kind of leads me into my next thing. Same thing happened to me when I first watched The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me. Like after I got home from the theater,
It sticks
I was
with
like
you.
up in the middle of the night taking a piss, and I was
Yes.
just like, Jesus fucking Christ, why did I watch this fucking movie?
Yep.
You know?
It's like someone's going to walk by the
Yeah,
doorway.
I know.
and
It's like there better be nothing that walks by this fucking bathroom door right now. But but then there's this other aspect of it where it's like not campy, and it's like, this might be hard to articulate for me, like brutal, like really like terrifying, not necessarily in a fun way. You know, I think there's
like torture porn kind of stuff.
Well,
Like,
no, I think just people taking it too seriously or having a certain point of view about the horror genre, that it has to be, I don't know, it can't be fun necessarily. Does that make
or
sense?
just like actually fucked up, and you're like,
Yeah.
this isn't even fun.
Like
scary.
actually
Like,
fucked up.
Yeah.
And like and just like, or just taking it way too seriously, where now you're getting in a debate about God and heaven and hell and good and evil and all this kind of shit, and it is just sort of like I don't know, and you hear about like just weird things happening too, and it's just sort of like there is a very kind of like terrifying level of horror that exists that is real, like not, I think all these movies and these films that we watch that are horror movies and horror films, you enjoy because you know they're not real. They scare the shit out of you. You know it's not real, and that's it. And then until someone fucking writes an article about, oh yeah, this was actually based off of this person, then you delve into it a little bit further, and you're like, that's some really weird shit that happened with this person.
Are you talking about? There's like a list of like the most disturbing movies out there where they like cross the line of stuff being like really like stuff that I read about. I was like, oh my god, I don't even know if I could watch that. It sounds so fucked up. But yeah, I don't know if I would count that as horror necessarily. That's just like fucked up, like a whole different realm.
Well, I think like I know this is supposed to be kind of our monster episode or just slasher episode stuff, but just to touch on the paranormal stuff real quick, like all, like the exorcism kind of movies and stuff, they are scary as shit, but in the back of your mind, you're always like, this isn't real. And it's, they scare the shit out of you. It's like, that was a really good movie, and you kind of move past it. But there is an aspect of it where when you actually kind of delve deeper into these stories and kind of what they're based on and the lore behind them, it's like, kind of like with these Conjuring movies, like the Warrens, who these movies are all kind of based off of.
Yeah.
They actually went out and did this shit.
Yeah.
It's probably all bullshit.
Or something we can't explain.
It's probably all bullshit. Like like either they intentionally did it as bullshit, or they ignorantly did it as bullshit, or a little bit of both. And the people that they're doing it for or with, either intentionally are full of bullshit, or ignorantly, or a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But you kind of chalk it up to it's mostly bullshit. But there's also this part of where it's like, well, I work with guys. I work with people. I have friends who like legitimately try to tell me that they've seen ghosts before, or they've experienced supernatural
Everyone's
things.
got that.
And I kind of look at them like, there's no fucking way. There's no way that happened to you. Or there's no way that it actually happened the way you fucking remember it happening.
Yeah.
And but there's a part of me that's like, there are something, there's got to be some things that happen along these storylines of, certain stories out there, guys with hooks on their hands or supernatural shit or anything where it's like, well, that's gotta come from somewhere, right?
Yeah, a little bit of truth or a little bit of...
Right, or just,
embellishing on a story.
Yeah, and I think that kind of terrifying aspect of horror, too, is also what kind of draws me to it. Because I don't believe in it, but maybe I don't believe in it because I'm too scared to actually... think that
you don't
something
admit
could
that
actually
could
happen. Yeah.
Okay, I see that. But yeah, good. We'll pinpoint that for the paranormal because I do have some good stuff about ghosts I want to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, so a question for you. What was the first really scary movie you've seen that really scared the shit out of you?
The Exorcist was really fucking scary.
Okay, yeah.
The original Exorcist.
How old were you when you saw it?
I was hard to watch. I don't remember. I think I was in high school.
Oh shit! Even in high school,
yeah,
it got you good.
Yeah, I just remember it really freaking me out.
Yeah. It gets a lot of people. That's definitely a top scary one. For
because
me.
And even the original with the visual effects, which are
you can tell they're fake now.
You can tell they're fake now, but
it's still good.
Almost, it's you can tell it's fake, but I don't think it necessarily hurts the movie. It almost makes it creepier that it's not.
Well, it's an actual thing, like her head spinning. Yeah, that's an actual head spinning, even if it is fake.
It almost makes it actually creepier. Yeah. That it's kind of more dialed down in the special effects.
That's what I like about practical effects, for sure.
Yeah.
As opposed to CGI stuff.
That one really got to me. When we were in Adam Roberts' basement watching Friday the 13th.
Dude, that's where I was going.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, that one was scary. Yeah, I do remember being fucking, because we were in the pitch dark. And we were just little kids. And
well, dude, that one almost scarred me. Just that night. So what happened? Yeah, I must have been what, 4th or 5th grade. Yeah. And so over there, no parents there, just at your neighbor's house.
In his basement.
Yeah, lights out. And I think it was still daylight when we started because it was summer.
It was pitch dark down there. Yeah.
So we're watching the three of us, Friday the 13th. And it's scaring the shit out of me. And the very end, specifically, where Jay, there's all on the boat and everything seems fine. And then his fucking deformed, charred-looking body, jumps out of the water, gets him on the boat, and it freezes. And I was just like, that got me big time. Yeah. And then after that, we decided to put on fucking Scream.
Scream right after that. Yeah. I remember that.
So watching that, I'm already scarred. And I think I only got through half of that because I had to go home. But then when I had to go home, it got dark outside.
Right.
And I remember I would have to walk through your backyard and then through that narrow little wooded area to get to my backyard. Yeah. And of course, after Friday the 13th taking place to the fucking camp or whatever, so I'm just walking through there in the dark, fucking 5th grade, scared shitless that someone's gonna pop out behind any of these trees. Get home. And then I, of course, can't fall asleep that night, so I go to my parents' room I did when I had nightmares. I slept in their bed in between both of them, and I still had terrible, vivid nightmares.
Oh, my God.
With, Drew Barrymore hanging from the tree with her intestines out and stuff. It scared the shit out of me.
I know that movie got you, because we've had a conversation about that before. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have nightmares from it, but definitely scared the fuck out of me. And that Scream opening, I still think is one of the all-time greatest openings for a slasher kind of film like that.
I think that's the only time I've seen Scream was then. I need to actually watch it again.
I think just that opening with Drew Barrymore, that opening to that movie, I think is a masterpiece. I think it's still one of the all-time. It's gotten parodied to death now.
Yeah, that's
that it's really feels kind of cheap
Yeah, it does have that feel now.
Unfortunately, it just got slaughtered, and maybe rightfully so. I don't know, but
and Scary Movie and
it
stuff,
got parodied to death,
Uh-huh.
and now it's like a gag joke almost, like the
Yeah.
whole fucking talking on the recorder and the whole
Ghost
like
face,
even
you
just
think.
the ghost face mask and stuff. But really, I still think it's like a masterpiece opening for a kind of thriller
Got the
slasher
shit out of me.
horror.
Oh yeah.
I just love how I think it's a great intro. I think it's I think it's one of the best ever. Honestly,
It's pretty fucking awesome. Those are some great ones in the '90s. Fucking, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. I Know What You Did Last Summer. All that.
See, so I kept watching them. They're so good.
The only other movie that really spooked me, not in a bone-shattering kind of nightmare way, because I was much older when I saw it. I wasn't a child, but one movie that really freaked the fuck out of me in a good way was The Others.
Yes, which we'll definitely talk about that in the paranormal one.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about that movie.
That's one of my faves.
It's one of my favorites too. Yeah.
I guess my second super scary experience would have been in high school. But one, The Ring, and we'll talk about that more in the paranormal. The Ring scared me.
The Ring got ruined for me.
Oh,
it got ruined. I waited too long to see it.
Oh, then yeah, it did.
Everyone was talking to me about how fucking scared I was gonna be for like a month. Adam and Lance, all
built up all your walls.
Everyone's telling me, it's like, oh, dude, the beginning is there's this one part in the beginning. That's how they would tell it to me. There's this one part in the beginning, dude, it's gonna scare the shit out of you. And I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and I was like, yeah, it made me jump, but I was like, God damn it, you guys, you fucking ruined it. You know?
That's true, that would.
Yeah.
And then The Grudge. I remember seeing The Grudge, and I guess that'd be more paranormal too, or also. But I watched The Grudge, and then that night I had to go home before my parents were getting home late, and my sister was out with them, so I was home by myself that night. I had to wake up early for my ACT test the next day, so I couldn't like stay up and like watch TV and wait for my parents to come home. I was like, I need to go to bed.
Right.
And I go to bed in my parents' big-ass house, upstairs in the room by myself, in the dark, and all I can think of is, like, that Grudge face, because I have a closet like they had in there with the little attic up there, and I was like, if that comes out of that closet, and I'm like, fucking freaks me out, and I got to take a test tomorrow, it's important. Yeah, so that was a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you know another movie that freaked me out? I guess, I don't know, freaked out might be actually, you know, a movie that kind of really made me think, and I'll say it freaked me out, and I think I would put this in this episode's category, is The Babadook.
Oh yeah, we talked about that one. Yeah. I was trying to place that one because it's
would
not
you
a
consider
ghost.
That a monster?
It's like an entity. I guess it's supernatural.
See, I don't think about it as being supernatural necessarily. Do you?
Well, it's
because it's actually less to do with an actual. It's actually more of a psychological.
Yeah, which I was thinking. I guess psychological stuff I would put in that paranormal supernatural category.
Maybe, but it's like it's like her. It's the mother's like creation of it, though. Mm-hmm. It's like her creation of that.
Yeah,
it's like the vehicle that she uses for grief. It's like her own. Right?
Yeah, it's like, in her head. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely psychological. I guess I just wouldn't know. I'd say
that movie really like stuck with me for like a good week after I watched it. Actually,
that was a good one.
I really liked that movie a lot.
I was like, finally, another solid scary movie. All right, let's get into some monsters and slashers here. So non-iconic monsters, so not werewolves, vampires. We'll get to them next. What are some of your favorite monster movies? I guess monster horror, not like Godzilla monster. That's not really horror. That's more action.
Yeah, I don't consider that.
Yeah,
I don't consider that horror. So not werewolves, not vampires.
Yeah, things like Tremors. I never saw Tremors.
Tremors, yeah. Tremors is good.
Gremlins.
Gremlins. I guess those are all kind of iconic now, but yeah.
Well, I mean, not like the traditional.
Right, traditional, yeah. Yeah, Gremlins is weird.
Such a fun one.
The first one is like the first one you can kind of count as like a horror movie. The second one is not anything close to being any kind of actual. The second it's just straight fucking nonsense. It's not even Hey, have you ever seen the Key and Peele skit about Gremlins 2?
No.
You should look it up. It's really good.
Well, it's funny. I guess
it
the
explains that movie perfectly. But yeah.
All right. I guess the original intention was to make Gremlins like rated R, super scary. Like, in one scene, the Gremlins were supposed to have killed the main dude's mom and thrown her head downstairs.
And
or
you
whatever.
can see glimpses of that in that first
It
movie.
scared me as a
you
kid.
can see glimpses of them kind of trending towards a darker thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it could get scary like that. That's also one of my favorite Christmas movies. And I'll put that up there when we talk about Christmas movies.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you seen The Descent?
Gremlins is good. The Descent, yeah. I'm
I really
familiar
like
with
that
The
one a
Descent.
lot.
That one's good. Yeah.
That's great because it gets claustrophobia and monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some
that
scenes
one's
I'm like,
good.
ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Quiet Place? Have you seen A Quiet Place?
I have not seen A Quiet Place.
It's fun. I enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely over the top kind of monster where you're like, this couldn't be real at all. But this way it's put together, I like it a lot. It has lots of good suspense in it.
Mm-hmm.
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers is great.
I've only seen the first one actually.
It's great.
Yeah, I did enjoy that one.
Really good. Really
Especially
good.
by the end. The fucking whatever meat suit he was making.
Yeah. That one is, I haven't seen that in a really long time. I should really revisit that one.
I want to say I've only seen it twice. And that
That's
was like
a
when it
really
first
good
came out.
movie.
Yeah. Mimic. Did you ever watch Mimic growing up?
I never saw Mimic.
Oh,
No,
dude.
Never saw Mimic.
Mimic was one of my favorites since it's been like high school years. It's really good.
Yeah.
That's a fun like little thriller, monster mantises, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Did you see the Leprechaun movies?
I saw the Leprechaun movies, yeah. They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, now they are.
They're fucking hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if they ever necessarily scared me, ever.
They did when I was a kid, just because of like
The
some little
Leprechaun,
creepy guy.
yeah, he looks pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But you watch like the original Leprechaun now. I think isn't Jennifer
Aniston?
Aniston? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it's almost like a comedy, but it's
Yeah.
still great,
Yeah. I think I've only seen the first one too.
Leprechaun,
Candyman,
Candyman,
which I've never
yeah.
seen that one. I've just heard stuff about it.
Remember that Jack Frost horror movie?
Oh, that one is so awesome.
yeah,
Just so over the top,
Over the-
stupid
like,
horror.
gratuitous, just nonsense. Yeah.
With Shannon Elizabeth, I
Yeah.
think. That's when the scene when she's showering and he like comes in as the water and then freezes himself in the shower and it's like slamming her against the wall. Oh yeah, those are good. Those are like we used to watch those at Knippel's house. We'd be like, we're just gonna
Right.
put on some fun. It's supposed to be scary but not scary movie kind of thing.
Or like Tales from the Crypt,
Yeah,
The
those are
Dark
spooky.
Knight. Did you ever see that Dark Knight movie? I think it was called Dark Knight. With the
Original Dark
fucking
Knight.
had these little weird little troll gremlin creatures, little demon
No,
guys.
I don't think so.
Or
But
Demon Knight. It wasn't Dark Knight. It was
Demon
Demon
Knight.
Knight. Yeah.
That sounds familiar too, but no, I don't think I don't recall that. Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, I consider all that kind of stuff, gremlins and leprechauns and stuff, like super camp.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
really like like they're kind of geared. They're definitely geared toward that horror genre. They're
Mhm.
not scary at all. But
Yeah.
there's something cool about
There's like the
you
fun
know.
house
There's something
horror,
cool
but
about
it's like, yeah.
Chucky's, like the Chucky's and stuff.
Chucky was
Yeah.
good. Which I'll talk about him.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Silent Hill?
I don't think
Based
so.
on the video game?
No, I never saw the movie though.
That one was good. That was the first movie I ever went to by myself in the theater. And it was perfect timing because this was freshman year of college. No one else wanted to go with me. I was like, I want to check this out. And we were out of weed. So I was like, I learned that night you can smoke resin. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, all right, I'll do that. It's like I had all my pipes, ground up all this resin, put it in there.
That's the night you discovered resin?
Yes.
Nice.
And it was perfect because I
Nice.
did it. And then I went and saw Silent Hill. And it was like the perfect, just dirty, grimy kind of movie. And that's like what a resin high was like. I'm like, oh, man, yeah.
Right.
This is legit. I should do this more often. Yeah,
Yeah,
resin
I
and then
see.
resin and playing BioShock. That's also one of my favorite pastimes. All right, so iconic monsters now. We can get into some of these.
Yeah.
What do you prefer, werewolves or vampires?
I guess I prefer.
Who would win in a fight?
I don't know, man. That's tough. I
No, it's
prefer.
not.
You don't think that's tough, huh? What, you think you're a werewolf guy, aren't
I'm
you?
all werewolves, yeah.
You're all werewolf. You're a lichen dude, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if it's werewolves, if I'm going to go werewolves, I'm going underworld werewolves.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
I'm going vampires, I'm definitely going more like a Interview with a Vampire.
Oh,
kind of
yes.
vampires.
Yeah, that's like very realistic.
Yeah.
Not Twilight? You don't do Twilight?
I don't do the Twilight, man.
No.
And I definitely don't
Sparkly
consider.
shiny.
I definitely don't consider that horror either.
Oh, no. But I was wondering, I thought about Underworld. Is Underworld horror or is it more action?
I actually don't consider underworld horror at all.
I wouldn't either.
It's sci-fi action.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, sci-fi
I don't
action.
consider it horror. But there are some good movies. You know, I wish they would make more horror movies with these kind of classic, iconic things.
Yeah.
Like I would, you know, they're kind of still doing it with witches, which I like. They're kind of still keeping the witches thing going in cinema. But I would love to see a werewolf or vampire movie come out. That's legit horror. That's not a fucking Twilight and not a fucking Underworld.
Yeah.
I would like to see an actual
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics horror movie with a fucking werewolf or with a fucking vampire, you know, like
I would hope they're going to do
now
that.
it's a little more like pop culture-y.
Yeah.
And I you know,
it's not the
is what
same.
it is, but-
Which I thought they were going to do that with, so we'll talk about werewolves here. The remake of The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro.
Great
and I was
movie.
like, oh, you thought so?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, the Wolfman.
Yeah, the remake
Yeah.
with Anthony Hopkins and stuff. I didn't think it was awesome.
Oh no?
No, thought it was going to be awesome. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, getting back to it. And then it just, I don't know, by the end I was like, it wasn't what I was hoping for in my werewolf movie. I did watch the original Wolfman yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I love werewolves. I got to see the first Wolfman, and it was good. I mean, it's 1941 whenever it came out,
Right.
so
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of these werewolf, zombie, vampire movies, they're all older now.
yeah,
You know, yeah, I don't know when, you know, I don't know how I do know how, you know, it's the whole Twilight thing. It's the whole everything. It's like
yeah,
all these kind of iconic things really got the pop culture treatment.
yeah.
To where they need to be more, I don't know. It's not supposed to be scary.
They
It's
keep
supposed
adding
to
like a
be
different twist
edgy.
to it, yeah. And I'm like, just
This
make it like a
it's not
solid
supposed to be
werewolf.
scary. It's supposed to be edgy.
Yeah.
Like, bleh, yeah.
What's your favorite werewolf movie then?
Oh. Do you, God.
Is it Wolf Cop? That's up there with one of my favorite
Is that-
transformations.
Give me a second here. Give me a second to,
Mine I could answer in
Thinking
less than a second.
all right, you tell me yours.
An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's also my top transformation scene.
Oh, yeah?
Badass practical effects. Rick Baker, shout out. Yeah, just the whole vibe of the werewolf story and that. How he gets bit, survives, and then he sees like his victims come back as ghosts. I thought that part's really cool. Like that's what I've always wanted to write, a werewolf short story or something, and I would base it kind of with that background, where he feels really good when he's a human. He's like super horny and amped up, and it's, you know, that really good feeling he can get sometimes. But then he turns into the curse, turns into werewolf at night or whatever in the full moon. I really like that part of that movie, so that's why that's my all-time favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It's good. It's really good. I was trying to I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the name of the movie. It's just called Wolf.
Oh, Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
Nicholson? Yeah.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I really like that movie.
That's
I
on my
liked it
list.
when I first saw it, and I still like it.
Yeah, I remember it because it was at your house
Nicholson.
doing a sleepover. We first watched that.
Yeah. And I was really trying to remember what the name of it was. What was the name of it? Oh, it's just called Wolf.
Yeah. When's the last time you've seen that?
Shit, it's been years. And I don't think it's aged well at all.
No, because I watched it last year.
I don't
and
think
I was
it's aged well at all.
Not as good as when I was a kid, but it's so fun. I did like the werewolf battle on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Have you ever seen Dog Soldiers?
No.
Dude, that's a legit werewolf.
Is that
movie.
legit werewolf?
Yeah. And it has the werewolves look like from Underworld, basically, which is fine. I like that look for a werewolf. But it's like these, are they Scottish military out in the woods somewhere in England or in Great Britain, wherever. And they're on a mission and they have to like camp out in this abandoned house as werewolves are like attacking them all night and come through the windows and shit.
Yeah.
And these guys are all loaded up with guns and everything. It's legit.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, Dog Soldiers. Check it out.
So I have a question for you. So what lore do you like better? Do you like werewolf lore better or do you like vampire lore better?
Werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like how I like wolves a lot. I like the animals more. Vampires, I guess sometimes vampires can be portrayed as like, ooh, little red vampire with my drinking blood out of a wine glass and blah, blah, blah. Where werewolves is more like, I don't know, animalistic and like big, beastly brutes. I like that as a kid. I always draw them and stuff. Like
more primitive?
Yeah.
Whereas vampires come with all the human baggage.
Yeah, more refined.
And drama and bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'd love to write, like, and this is one of my goals someday is write like a YA novel of werewolves and vampires, but not like Twilight, where it's like legit werewolves and vampires. That'd be fun.
What about...
Okay, you ask first, please.
What about, I was just going to ask, what about zombies? Do you consider zombies in the horror?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have a whole section for them here next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about, like, Frankenstein and Dracula and classics like that?
Dracula, yeah, he'll be in the vampire. And it's Frankenstein's monster. And, yeah, it's good. I mean, we got, like, Young Frankenstein. Just watched that last night. Have you seen that? Young Frankenstein?
No.
Gene Wilder?
No.
Oh, dude.
I know of it.
Yeah.
Like, I know of it. I've never seen it.
It's great, especially for, like, a Mel Brooks humor.
And I love Gene Wilder, so I should probably see this
You should, yeah.
movie already.
It's good for, especially this month. All right, last werewolf question. What's your favorite transformation scene?
I don't know if I have one. I'll be completely honest.
No?
I really don't know if I have.
Would you prefer like the scene, the grotesque, it looks painful, or just like the quick little boop, snap and they...
I guess for me, I prefer the grotesque.
Yeah.
I feel like a transformation like that is painful. And
exactly.
It's like a tearing of your soul almost. It's like it's like a real, it's a real transformation from being one being into turning into this other being, and it should be traumatic and painful.
Exactly.
That's why it should be miserable to have that curse.
Yeah.
It's not a curse if you can just snap your fingers and now I'm a werewolf.
Like, full control of like being super strong being.
No. It should be a miserable experience and a terrifying one.
Where you might kill people that you love.
You might kill people that you love. You have no control over your primitive being, and your goal is like a bloodlust. It's just like this bloodlust.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I like that story a lot.
Yeah. It should be painful and it should be crazy. Yeah. Like popping out of your fucking skin, bloody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You feel like you're dying every time.
Yeah.
All right. Vampires. What's your favorite vampire movie?
It's definitely Interview with a Vampire.
That's a good one. That's solid. I still need to read the book. It's on my list one of these Octobers.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is pretty okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, but Interview with the Vampire, I think, is my favorite.
That's up there. That might be my number 2. My first one is Let the Right One In. The Swedish version, not the American one.
The Swedish version's really good.
Yeah. That was like, this seemed like it could be a real vampire story, just like Interview with the Vampire.
Okay, so that is a fantastic vampire movie. Maybe I just need to change my opinion about that being a horror movie. Because I don't know.
It's more on the drama side, but it still has some horror aspect, I would say.
Yeah, I think it has some horror aspect. I just feel like Interview with the Vampire is more in that horror genre. I don't know why.
Yeah, even with, I mean, it's like Let the Right One In, where it's kind of a drama and that, you know, the lives behind the vampires and the story.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of realistic feeling.
Yeah, Let the Right One In is really good.
Yeah,
it's really
a lot.
Yeah.
For sure, just the whole how it's shot and everything.
Yeah, and I love the kind of like we are harkening back to earlier, like the kind of terrifying aspect of horror, like things that could be real. That seems to be like something that's like, well, yeah, I mean, how far-fetched is that really? It's pretty far-fetched, but...
Yeah. You know, there's a theory, I don't know if this
real.
is real or not, with Let the Right One In. So, you know, so she's a vampire, and she's been a kid vampire for a long time. And that guy that kills people for her to get her blood, there's a theory that he was like the kid in the movie that had like fallen in love with her.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
no, she recycles the kids.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which when I first read that, I was like, holy shit.
Because she's gonna live for centuries.
Yeah,
and she recycles the kids. So it's exactly what she does. Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I thought I was like, oh, this kid is like, it's so nice of them. Like, oh no,
he's just the next one in line to be her
got
caretaker.
Way more depth, because she has such a bigger history.
Yeah, that's what makes the movie so great. Is like, you see all that.
Yeah,
that kind of unfolding. It's like,
and just the way like it shoots her moving around. I'm like, this is really like well done. I thought, especially the scene they're filming like outside of the hospital, and like someone leaves, and all of a sudden you like see her. She's been on the wall the whole time and crawls down. I was like, holy fuck, she was there the whole time. It looks so real.
Yeah, it is a good movie. I think the thespian in me wants to rate Interview with the Vampire 1.
Yeah.
Maybe that too. And then, Bram Stoker's Dracula, I do like because the cast is just retarded.
Yeah, Gary Oldman, of course.
Yeah. And, sorry.
Young Keanu.
I use the R word. Yeah, the cast is retarded. Fucking, Gary Oldman, enough said. Then you throw in a Keanu, you throw in Anthony Hopkins, you throw in, who is it, Selma Hayek.
Mm-hmm.
The cast is insane.
That's a classic one. Then we've got, like, 30 Days of Night. You've seen that one?
I've never seen that one.
Oh, dude, that's another fun one. That's like a fun, like, vampires go killing and shit, and you gotta survive it. That's a fun one. That's like a fun, like, fun house kind of horror. And of course, I'd put Blade up there. Would you say Blade?
Blade is sweet. Not necessarily in that horror genre, but Blade is fucking sweet.
Yeah, there are parts because I was a kid that kind of scared me. I was like, oh shit, this makes me nervous. But
it's much more like action to me.
Have you ever seen Byzantium? It's with Saoirse Ronan.
No, never even heard of it.
It was one. I think it was on Netflix. Check on Netflix. I think I saw it a couple of years ago. But that's a fun, more realistic story of vampires, like these two chick vampires trying to survive in the modern day, and shit gets crazy. One embraces her vampirism, and one doesn't. And there's fun ones, like their classics, Fright Night.
What about Dusk Till Dawn?
I was just gonna, that's another fun one. That one, I think it's fun. I don't like how the vampires look.
You don't like how they look?
I don't like when their faces change all crazy.
You know what I love about that movie the most is just how abrupt a turn the movie takes. Like when I first saw that movie, I was like, I kind of get what this is about, and then it's like, no, that's not what I thought it was gonna be. I love that.
Crazy.
I love that just like really hard pivot that the movie takes when it starts going into the vampire stuff.
Yeah, and you're like, holy shit, where did this come from? But I have like Friday Night, Lost Boys, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Lost Boys.
I still have never seen Lost Boys.
Oh yeah, Vampire in Brooklyn. Yeah,
they're a fun one.
You haven't seen Lost Boys? You should definitely check out Lost Boys.
I need to. Yeah. Have you seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
I have not seen that, no.
If you just want a fun vampire movie to watch, that's a really fun one.
Okay.
Yeah, the action scenes. That's why it's so awesome. The action scenes are badass. He's got his axe. He's doing like spinning
Right.
shit.
I
with
do
it.
remember seeing the preview for that.
Yeah. No, it's not like, oh, this is a really good movie, but it's a really fun movie.
What about like Queen of the Damned? Did you ever see Queen of the Damned?
I want to say I saw parts of it back in the day, but never saw all of it.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
thing.
like, I feel like that was kind of like Twilight before Twilight.
Probably
like
more
like-
badass Twilight.
Like
yeah.
like a more adult version of Twilight, not
Yeah.
such a tweeny version of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
With Aaliyah.
Yeah.
You know what I've never seen that I needed, just like I needed to watch the original Wolfman? I've never seen Nosferatu.
I don't think I've ever seen Nosferatu.
That's like the
either.
original vampire,
Yeah.
if I recall.
I don't think I've ever seen that either.
No, I guess, yeah. And then Buffy, of course, with Christy Swanson. Yeah. Classic. Did you ever watch the Buffy? Did you watch the series back in the 90s?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah Michelle
Sarah
Gellar.
Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was a fun one. All right. Zombies. So, what is a true zombie to you? I'm a stickler on this.
I don't even know. I know there's so many definitions of a zombie. I feel like the very popularized definition of a zombie these days is something more kind of disease driven, something more like almost very similar to like a werewolf, where it's like a transformation of some sort.
Yeah.
Zombie for me has always been something like the dead coming to life. That's kind of been my.
So, what's the characteristics of the zombie? How does it move? Is it a running zombie?
You know how
or-
it moves. I don't know, but my definition of a zombie has always been The Walking Dead. The dead reanimating, coming back to life.
So 28 days later, are those zombies?
I mean, technically, yeah, I consider 28 Days Later to be a zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
And all these kind of movies where it's some kind of outbreak, some kind of transformation, some kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do consider them zombie movies. I do like the portrayal of zombies in that movie.
I think it's a great movie. I don't call them zombies.
Yeah. What do you call them then?
They're just undead or like reanimated corpses.
Right.
To me, the
Undead.
zombies, and this is because for like 3 years in a row, I read the Zombie Survival Guide every October, and that explains the zombies, and that's where it is like a reanimated corpse, so it's all rigor mortis, whatever, can't move very well, so that's why it's like the shuffling kind of zombie.
The shuffling, yeah. The kind of
Yeah.
dumb, not dumb, but just like,
Slow, but
yeah.
incessant, where like it never tires, never
Yeah.
sleeps, and so that's why it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a huge zombie
Yeah,
kick for
I
a while
think
there.
the most popular the new popular norm for zombies is this very almost superhuman kind of zombie where they, for whatever reason, whether it's a fucking 60-year-old woman or a 12-year-old child, they'll run faster than you.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to scale any fence and climb any fucking wall and
Yeah,
bust,
I don't like that.
bust through any fucking door, even though 90 pounds soaking wet. They'll just be able to bust down a door that you have deadbolted and fucking, this kind of like zombie on steroids kind of thing has gotten real popular with the zombie genre.
Yeah, they did it too much.
I do kind. It is appealing to me, that kind of power in a reanimated kind of thing. It's an appealing thing to me. I do like it, but I think it's definitely been overdone. I think it's definitely been, for me, zombies, like I said, zombies is still kind of like, the reanimation of the dead. It's like, The Walking Dead, quite literally. It's like, you once were dead, and now you're not. Now you're a fucking zombie.
Yeah.
and
Don't feel any pain.
and
never
you
tired
know,
at the end.
yeah, it's like, yeah, you certainly have a supernatural crazy aspect to you, but 135 pounds living or dead is still 135 pounds living or
Yeah.
dead. Sorry, you don't just get to be able to jump
No.
12 feet through a window
Yeah.
and then
That's
bust
yeah.
down a fucking steel door. Like,
Yeah. See, then I'm like, that's not a zombie. Because for me, zombies, they can be just as scary being slow and not fast. Because it's just like the time that if it could pound on a door endlessly until its hands fall off. And that's why, that's why it's like can be scary. And you get like 100 of them. And you can outrun them, but it's like that they're never gonna sleep, never gonna tire. That's where like
it's funny. It's like the zombie from Hocus Pocus. That's like a zombie to me, dude.
Oh my
like,
God.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus that's one of my all-time favorite Halloween movies for sure. Watch that every year for Halloween.
Yeah.
Fucking Billy.
That's like what a zombie is to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like all these things, like even World War Z, which is.
See, the book is great. The movie was. No.
I've never read the book, and I've heard that the book is phenomenal.
Yeah, because the book, it's not really a story.
And I actually like the movie. I did like the movie.
It's entertaining, but I'm like, they're not zombies because they're all fast and shit. And in the book,
they're all fucking Usain Bolt out there running around.
Yeah.
Fucking breaking the fucking 100-yard dash. Fucking scaling fucking 90-foot walls.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's just like, what?
The scariness is there'd be so many of them. It doesn't matter how fast they move.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I liked about 28 Days Later is like at some point they actually slowed down.
Yeah.
At some point they actually started starving to death and like being feeble and like dying off,
See, I really enjoy 28 Days Later and that whole series. It's just like a different, I don't consider it zombie for me. But I just had a thought. What do you think? And I forgot about this movie, I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend was good.
The Will Smith one. I haven't seen the original.
I'm talking about the Will Smith one too.
Yeah, very young.
Yeah, that one was. I like that movie. I don't consider it a horror genre, and I don't necessarily even consider it a zombie movie, even though maybe that's what they're supposed to be. But
yeah, that was in the weird in between kind of action, but there might have been a cure for him.
In between,
so. Yeah, I wouldn't see that one.
Yeah, all these movies where it's like outbreaks of things, diseases, and everything. I think zombie is the popular phrase for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I would agree with you. I don't necessarily consider them to be zombies.
No. And have you seen the
Not
original?
In the like classical way I think of a zombie as. Like,
no, not like Night of the Living Dead. Like, have you seen
yes,
those? Yeah.
Yes. Not. Yeah. Yeah.
All the George Romero. Those are like. Yeah. I love those movies. All right. Into overall the general slashers from like the 90s type stuff. Who would win? Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, Mike Myers, Leatherface, Chucky, Jigsaw.
Oh my god, dude.
Pinhead. I've never seen the Hellraiser ones though.
Pinhead. You never seen Hellraiser?
No, I haven't seen Hellraiser.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, legit. All right.
You gotta watch Hellraiser.
Okay, yeah.
Pinhead. Hellraiser's that's some weird stuff. It's cool.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah. It's strange. A good kind of strange, yeah. Pinhead. Man, Pinhead might beat them all, honestly.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
I definitely have to watch it. I have not, yeah.
Just because it's so far out there and it's so... Like, these fuckers come from a different realm. They're like... It's a weird...
I have like no idea the premise or anything with that.
I'd rather you just watch it and then you and I can talk about it later.
Okay.
Instead of me laying it all out for you.
I'll add that to the list.
Right, so watch it. And a lot of those
iconic slasher guys.
So slasher movies, obviously there's some fucking heavyweights, man. You got your heavyweights. You got your Leatherfaces and your Scream guys and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. Freddy's great.
But I think, what it always comes back to is Freddy and Jason, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because
they have their own movie together.
They're kind of beyond... Leatherface is scary because you can see that being a real dude.
Yeah.
That's not that far-fetched.
Yeah.
Of being some 6'6" fucking Neanderthal, weird, fucked up
Making a mask out of people's
dude
faces. Yeah.
whose family is fucked up
Yeah.
and who doesn't, that's not, that's kind of that gray area of like, no, this stuff doesn't happen, but it absolutely fucking could.
Yeah, true.
And then, you have your all your other slashers, these guys that never die, these hook hands, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're always pretty human, and I think that's why it always comes back to Jason and Freddy.
They all had a human background, right? Like Freddy was a human.
Yeah, but Jason and Freddy are they've graduated to the realm of almost indestructible. They're
exactly.
everlasting.
Mike Myers.
Yeah,
too,
Mike Myers too. Mike Myers too. And Freddy, probably is probably the winner.
Yeah. Those are good ones. I did like those.
He comes from a really
when you can't even
up
sleep.
background.
Yeah.
And his ability to get to you, although Rick and Morty absolutely just destroyed that. They absolutely destroyed that narrative in a fantastic way. Yeah. But yeah, the ability to get to you in the dream world is
dying your sleep.
Is really hard to contend with, I think.
He's got a great actor for the performance too. The other ones you don't even really know who the actor is, but like you see Freddy and you're like, oh yeah, fucking he's got like a personality to him. Yeah. But it's funny though, because
and he's super fucked up. He's a fucking pedophile, dude. Like that's like
burnt up pedophile.
He had a really fucked up childhood, and he's a really fucked up human being and adult. And dude, he's a fucking child molester and
still going after kids.
Yeah,
sleeping.
He's a fucking psycho. He's an absolute fucking psycho, and not a good dude. Not a good dude.
What I was just wondering, thinking about these guys, is like when the first movies of all these series came out, did they know how much of like a cultural impact they're going to have in the horror genre when these came out? Because there's how many bajillion Jasons and Freddys and Halloweens?
I don't know. I guess that was probably always the hope for them making these films.
But do they have that nowadays? I can't think of a movie that's coming out where like, oh yeah, there's the next one. Saw would have been the next one.
Saw was kind of along that line. Slashers are kind of few and far between as far as.
I mean, Chucky, that was earlier, but like nowadays, I can't think of anything nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know. The horror genre is kind of weird these days. The horror genre, there's a lot of the supernatural stuff going on right now. That's really, it's been big for a little while, and it's still kind of the big thing.
And those are my favorites, I gotta say.
And then it's big for a reason, But the slashers genre is, there's been all these kind of remakes. There's been these Texas Chainsaw Massacre remakes, stuff like that. One thing that I think we should give props to and acknowledge is the Rob Zombie House of a Thousand Corpses.
Those are
stuff.
For sure. Definitely add those in there.
Devil's Rejects.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. So
great soundtrack,
which we haven't even started talking about yet. But that
no.
As far as slasher kind of horror genres go, or just kind of like I mean. It goes a little bit beyond slasher, but it's kind of in that same vein of just like
that's like chasing you, like
that's just good horror.
That's
just good horror. I still remember House of a Thousand Corpses. First time I watched that, for whatever reason, that movie has actually stuck with me. I think about that movie sometimes.
Interesting.
I just find myself thinking about it, and like when I first saw it, I kind of wasn't sure what to think about it, and then I kind of like talked negatively about it when I talked to people about it. But now, many years later, I still think about that movie, and I actually really, really think I like that movie.
I guess I've only seen it once, and it was a while ago, and I didn't like it as much as Devil's Rejects. I don't remember. All I really remember is the really tall guy from
Yeah,
it.
Devil's Rejects is good.
Yeah, and that one had like the teenager kind of aspect.
Devil's Rejects is good. House of a Thousand Corpses actually really feels like a campy horror movie to me.
Okay, yeah.
I really like the characters in the movie. I really like the kind of campy violence to it, and just kind of it's borderline absurd kind of horror.
Yeah,
which is what I also really like. And it's like I don't know.
You know you're going for a ride. You're just like, all right, here we go. What's this craziness coming
It's
up?
like gratuitous and it's fantastic, and I really, yeah. Those are good, but you don't see that too much anymore. Like the third one just came out this year, right?
There's a third one.
We Evil 3 or whatever, or what the fuck is it called?
Kind of sounds familiar. But it didn't pop up on my radar, I guess, enough.
What the fuck is it called?
But Rob Zombie?
Yeah, it's the third one in the thing.
With,
Three from Hell. We Evil 3.
That's a fun title. We Evil 3.
Three from Hell. Yeah, it just came out this year. Yeah. Oh, and Sid Haig died too. Haig?
Who's that?
Sid Haig. He's the clown. He's
shit. What's his name in that?
He's Captain Spaulding.
That's it, Captain Spaulding. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he
Damn,
just died just like, dude, this was just like a
shit.
week ago.
No,
or a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Huh.
He just passed.
Weird. He did awesome in that. And I do want to have at some point in this podcast series to talk about clowns and different types of clowns. So yeah, he'll be up there.
He's
for
a pretty
clowns.
fucked up clown. Yeah, he's a good clown.
Legit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, slashers it's just you don't really find them. I don't think they're very prevalent anymore. Not like they were in the 90s and the 80s and stuff.
80s and 90s are huge for him for sure. But yeah. All right, I'm going to do a big pivot here. Kind of. For something about horror. Alien horror movies. And I want to start off with asking, well, obviously the first Alien movie, Ridley Scott, I would consider that horror. But the other Alien movies and Predator, are those horror or more action?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I know you could classify them as horror, but I put them strictly in sci-fi action.
Yeah, that's right. Especially Second Aliens and the Predators.
Yeah, sci-fi action. It's scary, but horror is.
It's suspense.
Horror,
suspense.
Yeah, horror is not just scares.
Yeah.
Horror is it's hard to articulate. Horror is it's something else. It's something a little bit
we're almost
deeper.
You're kind of like cringing to look, or I remember as a kid looking through your fingers, kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Horror touches on true, real fear. I think, like sometimes irrational fear, or even rational fear too is fine. But like horror, it really almost kind of like tugs on irrational fear. Like why am I scared of these things that don't exist? Or
it brings you in the movie like you're actually there,
but you are. You can't help but be just like.
Yeah.
Freaked out by it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Alien for sure. Alien's one of my top favorite movies in general. The Thing. Have you seen The Thing?
The Thing
from the 80s.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell.
I don't remember much of that movie though.
That one's. I saw that when I was way too young. Of course, my dad's house.
I was the same thing for me. Yeah, but I really don't have a great memory of it.
That was just the practical effects. The biggest memory for me is when the dude dies, the other guy's going to give him like the shock thingies for CPR to revive his heart, and then the dude's chest opens up with teeth, bites his hands off, and then that dude's head like falls off the table, and then it gets spider legs out of it. And that, I remember, just stuck with me. I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. And I must have been 7 years old when I saw this. Way too young. But it stuck with me. But yeah, The Thing was great. The Thing got me good. And that still holds up today, I would say. Yeah, like a Cloverfield. Call that horror?
I wouldn't even call that horror, man. Horror to me has got to be intentionally. It's got to be intentional. Very intentional.
I guess because Cloverfield's so, I guess, big.
Cloverfield, that's sci-fi.
It has to be more like up close and like
it's just got to be intentional. It's got to be like, and I don't even know how you label it, but there's kind of a distinct line of where you know something's horror or you know something's not.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about it.
And I don't know how they define that when they're making the movie. I don't know if they'd be like, okay, this is absolutely a horror film, or hey, this is going to have some elements of horror to it, but really, it's like, I don't know. And horror has to be intentional. I think if you're going to make a horror film, you go into it knowing that you're going to make, like, whatever you're making is going to be part of the genre.
True.
There's not going to be any gray area. You know what I mean?
Are there any alien horror movies that jump out to you?
Not really. I'm going to be completely honest.
I'm
no.
Looking at my list here. Well, what about, have you seen The Fourth Kind?
I have not, no.
That one's like a realistic, like kind of found footage interview of people in there. I would put that one in the horror. It wasn't the best movie, but it was very it was like Paranormal Activity, but for aliens. Whereas people like filming themselves when they're going to sleep and like getting taken over by an alien and their bodies move in weird ways.
Yeah, I can see that.
That one, I would probably put that one in there.
There are some gray areas.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah.
I need to see the original. I heard the original is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess horror's...
Does it get tricky with aliens?
I think it gets tricky. I think it gets tricky when you include extraterrestrial kind of alien stuff with it, because it can go both ways. There's definitely a gray area there. I think it can be pretty horror driven, but it always just feels science fiction to me.
What about the original Alien? That would you call
the original Alien?
It's like a hard split sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. I mean, it's kind of supposed to be like a haunted house in space kind of thing.
I mean, well, and even there's some sci-fi movies, strictly sci-fi movies, not necessarily have to do with aliens, but strictly sci-fi movies that you could count in the horror genre.
Like Event Horizon?
Like Event Horizon. Yeah. That's exactly the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That one you think going in is full sci-fi.
That's exactly the one I was thinking of.
Like, oh, shit, no, this isn't just sci-fi.
Yeah. So,
what about,
I guess there's some gray area when it comes to the aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen The Faculty?
Faculty I've seen. Yeah. You could count that in the horror genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got the teenager aspect.
I actually really like that movie.
Faculty's fun.
Faculty is a fun movie, yeah. It's a good movie. Elijah Wood.
Yeah. Shoot, I was just missing a whole area that we could talk about is comedy horrors. Like, you ever seen Idle Hands?
No.
Idle Hands, that's a fun one. Jessica Alba, back in the early 2000s this came out. Seth Green, and then one of the Bash Bros. You should check out Idle Hands. That's a fun. It has zombies. It has demonic things. It's got stoners. Yeah.
Like, is it intentionally trying to be funny, or is it just so bad that it's funny?
It's intentionally. It's supposed to be part of it for sure.
Okay.
Because like Seth Green and the Bash Brother guy are friends of the main character. They end up dying because he has this hand that's possessed by the devil. So he cuts his hand off, and then the hand is its own thing in the movie. But then Seth Green and the other guy come back as zombies, and they like chill with him. They're still trying to get high and shit as zombies, but it still has like thriller and like slasher aspect of it. Yeah, definitely check out Idle Hands. That's a fun one.
I'll check that out.
But yeah.
What about movies like Blair Witch Project and stuff? What do you think about that? Does that fall into horror with you?
Oh yeah, that one for sure would be horror. Trying to think of most found footage.
And then all the Saws. We talked about that briefly. But
yeah, the Saw and those ones I dropped off quickly. I love the first one blew me away. When he got to the end, I was like, holy shit. No way.
Yeah. I
But,
think that's true with everyone. The more they go on, it's just like,
Yeah, I saw maybe the first
Yeah.
3, and that was it.
And there's some really bad horror out there too.
Yeah.
What are some of the worst horror movies you've seen?
Krampus.
I never saw that, man.
I went with my sister like during December. I was like, 'cause I like horror movies around Christmas.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it just wasn't
Not
good.
good,
It's
huh?
like, yeah, this is fine, but no, I shouldn't have gone in the movie theater to watch this.
Right.
Can you think of any?
One that sticks out. It's my all-time worst horror movie ever. Fear.com
Oh,
is the most garbage piece of fucking trash horror movie that I've ever seen in my life.
I remember seeing previews for that, and I was like, I don't
It
know.
is absolutely just phenomenally terrible. Whoever wrote it should feel bad about themselves. Whoever directed it should feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
The movie company that decided to produce it, they should feel bad about themselves. It was absolute garbage.
I feel like that's gonna be like the one came out recently, Truth or Dare. It looked like it was the modern version of a really crappy horror movie like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the Ouija board shit and all that. Blah.
Yeah, did I see? Yeah.
And
no.
then there's I know what I want to talk about. What about some of these other movies like Final Destination? What about Cabin in the
dude.
Woods?
Oh, I was gonna bring that up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
I loved Cabin in the Woods.
That one's good.
Dude.
That one's like I was trying to. That's an all genre horror movie.
right. Yeah,
Just all
that
happens.
one is pretty crazy. I really like that.
That one's just good. Yeah, all around. That's a
Yeah.
fun one. But yeah, dude, I loved Final Destination back then.
I mean,
especially the first couple.
is that considered a horror movie?
I'd put that up there
Yeah?
with.
Would you put that
yeah,
in that? Yeah.
It's
Okay.
same kind of killing as in like I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's just
Right.
like it's more supernatural.
Yeah, a
Death
little more
Force.
supernatural. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some man. Was it just because we were younger? Were the '90s
think so.
better at making
I think.
fun ones?
I don't know. Maybe it just caught us at the right time. I
That's
don't
true.
know. Yeah.
Those
That
were
was a
fun,
freaky movie. I remember being a little freaked out by Final Destination.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a
oh,
good
shit.
concept, especially the first one. It was like, oh shit, we cheated deaths, now we have to die some way. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh yeah, what if that could like, what if you're getting choked out in your fucking shower by the clothesline or whatever?
Right.
Well, let's see. Anything else? I mean, we did an hour and a half here of
Oh yeah.
most everything.
I mean, we could talk for several more hours about just Halloween
Yeah.
and horror and all that kind of stuff, but
There's the family-friendly Halloween stuff. Yeah, all that
Yeah.
Transylvania,
Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Those
mean,
good
Halloween it's so broad. It's all encompassing, especially when you talk about the horror genre. And I mean, we haven't even talked about actual people, all the really great directors and great actors.
Say
that have been
Hitchcock movies. You ever
part
seen
of the-
Psycho?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they've been
Mhm.
part of this genre that
Stephen
are still
King.
part of this genre.
Yeah, Wes
Um,
Craven, all these different guys.
Yeah, we could really do episodes and episodes and episodes. But I guess we'll just have to leave it
Yeah.
here. And
Well, now we got the broad stroke, and from here, we can future episodes can be on fine tuning, like going into
Right.
depth on some guys and stuff.
yeah, and I'm really looking forward to this second episode of our Halloween.
Yeah, definitely, because I like paranormal.
Yeah,
spiritual shit.
like that one.
Yeah.
I have the paranormal stuff. That one's gonna kick up a notch.
I find those to be the scariest movies for me.
Me too.
Those stick with me.
Me too.
Things that you can't, you can punch Mike Myers in the face. You can't punch a fucking ghost in the face and shit like that. That's what gets me.
Well, I think it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, get prepared. All right, well, yeah, we'll wrap that up there then. We'll save any other questions and all that episode stuff for later. So there we go, part 1, Halloween horror
All right.
in the books, and yeah, I'm looking forward to a couple weeks from now. Get that shit knocked out. All right, Stay scary,
right.
everybody.
What the fuck?
Bye bye.